Hey YouTube, Paul Laws here once again, and today, oh man, you can see that I have to roll up my sleeves for this one. Today we are reviewing a Blackwater Guitars custom shop 6-string. This one is owned by a buddy of mine who I met in surprising circumstances. His name's Will McLeod, and he loaned me this bad boy to review. And man, just every detail on this guitar is perfect. Of all the custom guitars that I've played, this is probably the most recently built one. And man, it's been a long time coming. So, without further ado, let's get into the specs of this guitar. We've got ourselves a mahogany body, which I'm sure the camera's picking up is even a little 3D looking. Looks like it's 2 pieces as well, which is interesting. We've got ourselves a rosewood and padwak, I don't know how to pronounce it, neck here. You can see the rosewood and then this sexy little volute right here, and then the 2 strips right there, the padwak. We've got ourselves a Cadillac's fingerboard, which is fully bound with some kind of a, I don't know, it looks like a weird bony stripy kind of binding, which is really, really classy. Of course, the 5A quilted maple top, just beautiful. Oh man, and then of course you have yourselves what looks like to be a veneer of the Cadillacs as well as the quilted maple on the top of this headstock. So really, someone described this as being 2-toned. I consider it triple-toned, which is just really cool. And okay, so now let's talk about the rest of this instrument. The hardware, brother. Well, looks like we've got ourselves a Schaller Haynes bridge. These are 2 bare knuckle pickups. Very sexy ones. The VH2, which is my favorite bare knuckle pickup for the neck position. We also have ourselves a Holy Diver, which is really awesome because I love Dio. Okay, no, it's really awesome because it sounds good, and it's a very bright sounding pickup. And hip shot locking tuners, which is really great. I believe that's a bone nut. I could be totally wrong about that. It looks like bone, tastes like bone. And yeah, that's about it. It's very, very simple. Volume, tone, 3-way switch, regular old strap buttons. It's a bolt-on, and I really love bolt-ons, thank you very much. And that's mainly because bolt-ons sound a particular way. It's not because of I like heels, but this heel is super sexy. And ultimately, I think this is one of the coolest guitars I've played for 6-string. So without further ado, you heard it a little bit in the beginning of this video, some distortion stuff. Let's play a little bit more. I mean, drop D. Let's hear some stuff. So due to the brightness of the pickups, I find that this guitar is more of a leady kind of thing, and I wouldn't really put a Holy Diver in the bridge, but this is not my custom guitar, so it's not up to me. I think that in terms of the crunchiness, it's great for that, but I think that if there was something a little bit more mid-paced, maybe even a little less output, I don't know, I think that might be a bit more suited for this guitar. I think it sounds amazing, by the way. I'm very, very impressed with the way that it responds. What I think about this guitar is that it's basically constructed to perfection. There's no issues, there's no dings unless there have been self-inflicted meaning have happened after Blackwater sent it out. I think it's just immaculate for a custom guitar. Just it's crazy. The curves, the angling, the even this body volume and everything is quite beautiful and remarkable. And the fretboard Cadillacs, I've never seen it before, right? So obviously the options are kind of crazy. And I'm looking at now, just right now at the binding, and it looks like it's really 2-ply, because there's this black kind of thing going in between the cream and the fretboard. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, if it's going to autofocus or not. But yeah, it's super impressive. And I mean, of course, this quilt is just on another level, man. Beautiful wood. I think Blackwater guitars are superb. I've been waiting to review one of these things for ages, and I'm just so glad to finally be able to do it. So now let's switch to standard tuning, because I know more riffs than that. Let me just say, the addition of having locking tuners, as well as them being hip shots, fantastic. They're such a good standard thing to see on a guitar, which just immediately makes me happy as a guitar player, because they are easy to use. There's a good breath to them. Just very clever. Okay, so let's hear some stuff. So again, with that rhythm tone there, that model's a PVH 6160. I really like that one, the XFX, and it sounds superb. Now let's obviously switch it up a little bit here. I'm going to put on a clean channel. Let's hear how the bare knuckles react with mahogany maple and rosewood neck. Oh my god. So right now I'm on the Holy Diver. This is a little bit of a hotter pickup sound in comparison to the VH2. VH2 is very tame, by the way, the neck pickup. So anyway, let's hear some stuff. Middle sound. Neck pickup. Now, how do I describe it? Well, in the room, I won't be adding this to the video itself, but in the room there's actually absolutely no buzz coming from the guitar. Okay, so that's just the sign of a nicely set up instrument. Every note feels like it's got home, a home, meaning to say like every note sounds defined. It's there, it's in front of you, it's projected well. The guitar is resonant, man. It sounds amazing. I really love the clean tone. I've used that exact clean tone with many different guitars. I've never had this kind of reaction where it's like, wow, okay, that's ready for a studio. Send it off. That's it. Out to lunch. I'm done. Okay? Jeez. So I think it really speaks for itself. Very open, bright, warm, and defined. That's basically what it is. And I would never use the terms warm and bright, because that doesn't make much sense, does it? Warm is supposed to be like, oh, mids, but brightness as well, because BKP and the wood combinations are just spectacular. So I don't know if Mr. McLeod decided on the woods himself or if he got some collaboration. Either way, for this guitar it sounds amazing. So now let's switch over to a lead sound, because it wouldn't be a Paul Oz review without a lead sound. And you'll see exactly what I mean by this is a lead instrument. Such brightness. Oh my god, that clean sound. pardon that last little lick, okay? Pardon it. It's gonna be okay. So what do I think about this guitar? I think if you're waiting a while to get a custom shop instrument, Blackwater guitars seem to be extremely high quality. This is an older one too. This isn't exactly brand new. Again, it is the newest custom that I believe I've played in the last year or so and have had a chance to review. So with that being said, it seems that he only seems to get better, Mr. Aaron Brown, the guy who owns Blackwater Guitars. And obviously the guy makes pickups, because I've talked about them before. The neodymiums, which are fantastic pickups, extremely cool sounding, man. Anyways, so without getting into all of that, let me just say, bang for your buck, yeah, it's there alright. You're going to get a custom shop instrument. That's absolutely beautiful. And I mean, if I had just a bit more cash, I would be like, 8-string please. Can I get one though? You know, I just have no kinds of patience and no kinds of cash right now. So I consider it to be a great privilege today to be reviewing this guitar for you guys. I really have been wanting to try it forever. A good friend of mine, Dan, has been bothering me and being like, so when you gonna try one out there, buddy? And I'm like, finally, I get my hands on one. So thank you to Mr. McLeod for this guitar and for this demo. I've had a blast jamming on it. And not only that, I've been practicing with this guitar. So I've been learning music. I've been rehearsing some songs with it. I've been playing some songs of mine that I haven't played in a long time because of the way that this guitar seems to resonate and sound. And that goes to show, you know, I really like it. Recently, a guitar that I felt that way about was my comparison Dellinger 7-string, which I had borrowed one from Metab ages ago, and I loved playing it, and so I ended up getting one. So maybe this is another sign in the future that I will own one of these. Hopefully it means that, because I was just so damn impressed, and I love it. I love it. I don't want to give it back, but you know, that's how she goes. So I hope you enjoyed this review, YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like this video, and definitely expect more in the future. Happy New Year, and cheers, YouTube.